So as I covered in a previous video, Marvel Studios was revamping the Daredevil Born Again TV show. It's a sequel series to the Netflix series starring Charlie Cox, but they had like several episodes filmed before Hollywood went on strike, and during that period, they were examining everything and they found that a lot of it wasn't working for them, and so they fired the executive producers who were writing, and I don't even know if they were considered showrunners because of the way that Marvel Studios has like tried to chart its own course in terms of television development. But now Marvel realizes that TV industry has figured it out, and they're okay. We're not reinventing the wheel here. Let's just go and do what they're doing. But it sounds like they now have the showrunner for the Daredevil series. Marvel Studios' Daredevil television series has a new creative team. Dario Scartapane, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Sorry, Italians. I'm Irish. I don't know how to speak your language. Whose recent credits includes Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, as well as Netflix's Marvel show The Punisher, has been tapped to act as the new showrunner for the series, which is in the midst of a creative overhaul. So, The Punisher. I really liked The Punisher. I thought The Punisher was probably one of the darker and more unique of the Netflix Marvel series. Now, certainly all of the Netflix Marvel series were a little darker than what you had going on with the Marvel films at the time. And they always kind of sat in like a quasi-canonical place because like they would reference events from the films, but like in a roundabout way where like they weren't allowed to say character names. Like instead of the Hulk, like they had Luke Cage was set in Harlem, and the Incredible Hulk movie, it has Hulk, in a fight with Abomination in Harlem. So, but instead of talking about the Hulk, they say that green guy, or like it's set in New York. All of this stuff is set in New York after the first Avengers film, but instead of talking about Loki's attack, they always call it the incident. And so it was always kind of unclear where it sat in terms of actual canonicity with the MCU. But here it looks like, since they're bringing back Charlie Cox from the show and pretty much everyone else, that those shows are being brought in. They're like actually canon now. But The Punisher was probably one of the darker of those shows. They were all more violent than the films, but this one should be interesting. Now, I do have some issues with the way that The Punisher was done, and the fact that this guy has also worked on Jack Ryan. Both of those shows tends to have like a favorable view of like the United States federal and foreign apparatus, because like Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, he's a CIA analyst, and in The Punisher, one of the main characters is a DHS agent. There tends to be a little bit more favorable coverage of that, and that's kind of something that is a bit of a given in Hollywood, and I don't like it because I don't like the federal government. I don't like those agencies, particularly agencies like the Department of Homeland Security and the CIA. Those tend to be pretty uniquely awful, but he's done work on stuff that tells interesting stories. So the fact that he's on board kind of makes me hope that this show is going to be darker, because early reports on what the original guys were working on with Born Again was that it was not going to be as dark as the original Netflix series, and I think that's a big mistake. Additionally, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, the co-directing team behind indie genre thrillers who are coming off of directing episodes of Loki Season 2, have been hired to helm the remaining episodes that will constitute the first season on Disney+. So they have talked about they want to use some of the footage and some of the episodes potentially that they filmed, but they're going to rework it, and I think that's a mistake. I think if they're like going with a completely new direction, I think they should start from square one. I know that they're going to keep some of it just probably as like a cost saving measure, but I think that's a big mistake. I think if it wasn't working and they're going back to the drawing board, anything that they do to try and rework what they've already shot is going to be very noticeable. It's going to be very obvious that they took something that was written for something else and they tried to repurpose it. And they should just start over if they're going to start over. Benson and Moorhead will direct the new episodes to bring this first season to a close. It is unclear how many episodes it will encompass. Corman and Ord will become his executive producers, and Corman and Ord, they were the writers on the show before it had the big shakeup. The hiring of a showrunner is part of Marvel's larger overhaul of how it makes its television series. The company previously made its shows much like it made its movies, but as THR previously reported, Marvel has reconfigured its model, embracing traditional TV concepts such as showrunners and pilots and series bibles. Let's see what... okay, so Benson and Moorhead had a breakthrough with cult and festival circuit hits The Endless, Spring, and Synchronic. I have not heard of any of those, so maybe I should take a look at that. They sometimes do all the heavy lifting on their movies, from writing to acting to directing and producing to shooting, editing, and visual effects. The duo directed 2 episodes of Marvel's Moon Knight, which starred Oscar Isaac, and 2 episodes of Season 2 of Loki, which is currently unfolding on Disney+. Okay, Moon Knight had some interesting aspects to it, but I think it still suffered immensely from the Marvel problem, and like especially in the ending where like the last episode had like a couple of CGI Egyptian gods fighting each other for a little bit, and then when it came to the actual like fist fighting that like we were kind of promised with Moon Knight, because Moon Knight's kind of like the gritty hand-to-hand combat fighter. They just had him like blink out because Moon Knight has multiple personalities. He has a dissociative identity disorder, and so the character that we were focusing on, he just blinked out for a minute as another identity took over, as another alter took over, and so he just comes back too and sees that he's already beat everyone up. It was such a cop-out to do that so that we didn't actually get the action. But I don't know how much of that was these guys, and how much of it was, the studio execs going, oh, it's too expensive to do another fight scene, let's just do that. But Scarta Payne, a journalist turned screenwriter who got his breakthrough when he co-wrote the Mario Van Peebles Western Posse, has considerable TV experience in the thriller genre. He created and executive produced the NBC medical drama Trauma, and served as consulting producer on the Peabody Award-winning FX crime drama The Bridge, which starred Damien Biker, I have no idea how to pronounce that, and Diane Kruger. Returning to NBC, Scarta Payne has served as showrunner on the Katherine Heigl, Alfred Woodard political drama State of Affairs before moving into streaming television, serving as writer and executive producer on Punisher. Most recently, he was a writer and consulting producer on Amazon's Jack Ryan series starring John Krasinski. So, we'll see how this goes. I really don't have high hopes for Marvel these days. I really think their glory days are well and truly behind them. And honestly, I really more and more think that they should have wrapped things up with Endgame. I'm still sticking it out. I'm still watching it all because I'm kind of a sucker and a completionist in that regard. Maybe one day something will just be so bad that it's the last straw on the camel's back, but we'll see how bad this show goes. I don't have high hopes for it. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.